We are in a series called Father's House. And we've been talking about passages where Jesus mentions Father or Father's house from the Gospel of Luke. And today is the last part of the series. And as I close the series today, we have one more Sunday in October. And we have a special preacher next week, Bryce Rogers. He's going to preach next week. So, hey, pray for him and get ready to be born again next week, okay? All right, so I want all of us to jump into today's text. I want you to open up your bulletin or Bible and go to Luke chapter 22, verse 39 to 46. It's on the screen, it's in the bulletin, it's in your Bible. I'll just read the passage to you because since it's short. Here we go. Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him. On reaching the place, he said to them, "Pray that you will not fall into temptation." He withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. When he rose from prayer and went back to the disciples, he found them asleep, exhausted and from sorrow. "Why are you sleeping?" he asked them. "Get up and pray so that you will not fall into temptation." Amen. I picked the passage because recently I found some people falling asleep during the sermon. So I'm going to preach on, how damn you're going to be if you fall asleep during the sermon. And I'm kidding. Recently, on my Facebook, on my timeline, I found a very interesting image or a post somebody put on. It was like wife's texting her husband while she was away for a while, and she was giving some sort of like order or a favor to her husband so that she can come back and cook a dinner for the family. It goes like this. "Honey, can you take the chicken out of the fridge and let it rest for 40 minutes with some onions, pepper, and beer? I'll be home in less than an hour." And then husband goes, "I'll take care of it." And then the wife goes, "Thank you, you're the best." And the photo that she got was this. Chicken was resting out there with a red pepper and what else was beer and onions. And somehow, looking at the chicken resting, I feel like, I'm kind of just a little jealous of the chicken. I wish that's me. Anyway, and then he goes like, "Done," But sometimes it's not just married couple situation, but sometimes we want some certain things to be done, but very often we don't see that thing, really, necessarily to be done, right? Not like, again, in your family situation only, but like at your work, there are a few things you want really, happen, but they don't really happen necessarily. Not just at your work, like school, everywhere. Maybe at church too. If you're thinking about falling asleep before the sermon, and I'm going to preach on not falling asleep, there are a few things, things in your life you want them to be really to happen in your life, but they don't really happen as you want. But the thing is, it's not just like it's the weight of the things that really done in your life is heavier than you actually expect. Because if you think about it, look at your life, look at anybody's life. When we define, a life as a good life, this actually becomes standard. Isn't it true? Well, when we hear somebody's story, somebody's life story, looking back my life, these things happen, these things don't happen, and these are the things that I really wanted to happen, but they don't really happen. That actually reflects how good that life sounds to you. Not just other people's lives, but your life too. If you look back, there are a few things that you want, but some of that really happened, and some other things didn't really happen. But and then you measure your life by that standard. Oh, so my life didn't feel, that good. It didn't look that good. Why? Because things that you want didn't really happen. So if you think about it, good life is all about how much of the things that you want really happen in your life. But the thing is, that's not necessarily true. You can't really see your life that way. I do the weddings time to time, But the thing is, whenever a couple, who want to be married, they come to me and ask for, for me to do weddings, I always ask this question: are you out of your mind? You know why? Because whenever I do the weddings, it somehow looks very awkward. Because very often I look even younger than the groom. You see the situation here? Usually pastors who's officiating the wedding are supposed to look, experienced, look, like old enough, look like you gotta have a little belly so that the person can have their hands on that, right? Right? And you gotta have some gray hair, and when you look at the person, the pastor, what kind of person that is, whatever person that is, you look at that person, you gotta have the impression that, oh, I want to hear some wisdom from that person, kind of like Gandalf figure person, right? Like Dr. Penlin. When you see him, like, oh, I want to ask him to, marry me and that girl, or my husband to be. But when you see me, you don't really think of a question like, will you do a marriage for me and my fiance? You come up with a question like, hey, let's hang out Friday night, And so like I ask that question, are you out of your mind? Especially in Korean culture context, it's not just couple thing, marriage. The wedding. It's more like family. It's in States, anywhere too. But here, it's more about like two families coming together. Everybody's in a suit. Everybody has serious look. Everybody's like serious. And when I show up, it becomes like a joke. Whole wedding ceremony becomes a joke. So like seriously, whenever any couple they show up, asking me, oh, Pastor Sonny, can you officiate our wedding? Then I'll go like, are you out of your mind? Did you check this with your parents? Seriously, I ask every questions like that. Like, oh, are you sure? But nevertheless, I do the weddings. Okay, but wedding is always hard. Maybe some of you have done this before. Married people. But it is always hard. I even heard a story. It was so funny, actually. It was one wedding. There was a pastor who really wanted to attend the wedding, but who couldn't make it. But he loved the couple so much, instead of being there, he actually sent a little note so that the person, like MC person, master of ceremony, can read that note in the almost like end of the wedding ceremony to the couple, okay? It's like congratulatory kind of message. So the pastor actually picked up a passage from Bible. It was First John, okay? First John. Is it First John? Do we call it First John? Okay, good. I actually keep forgetting like even how to call like Bible passages. Okay, anyway, in English. Okay, First John, chapter 4, verse 18. It goes like this: there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with like punishment. That one was weird. But the one who fears is not made perfect in love. So he actually picked up the first part. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. That was the passage this pastor picked out to, say this, message of a congratulatory message to the couple. But the thing is, this master of a ceremony person, he was not really familiar with the Bible. So instead of picking up the First John chapter 4, verse 18, he actually picked up John. Gospel of John, chapter 4, verse 18, okay? And he was reading it for the couple. It was a wedding ceremony. The master of ceremony, the MC person is reading this to the couple, okay? Gospel of John, chapter 4, 18, verse 18 goes like this. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is now your husband. What you have just said is quite true. The whole wedding ceremony go a little weird. But again, like, doing the wedding is always hard, especially, in my case, I don't want to ruin the wedding because I don't want to do that. Yeah, so, because I do have that look, I do have this nuance, but I do my best to be as serious as I can. I have no serious look, holy look. I see all that. One day, it was one of the weddings, and I went there. I arrived there early enough, like 20 minutes before the wedding. Okay, that was early enough. I parked my car in the parking lot, and I was like getting myself ready. I was in the suit, and just make sure everything's all right. And I found something kind of shocked my heart, just terrified me, which was I usually, do not untie my tie all the way out. What I do is I leave it like in the middle. So the next time I wear it, I don't have to tie it again from the beginning. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, right? Like usually tie is it's like a rope, okay? So when you tie your tie, you put it around your neck. You do the tie thing, right? But I somehow I have just trouble with that. I can't remember how to do that. So what I do is I just leave it kind of untied, like pull it like all the way to the middle and just pull it out and leave it like that. And that's how I use my tie. So I was there in the parking lot in my car, and I was just getting ready, myself ready. But I found that my necktie was just untied all the way. I'm like, what should I do now? You see, I cannot officiate wedding without wearing a tie. That's so weird. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I only had 20 minutes. I can't tie my tie for just 20 minutes. 20 minutes is too short. So what I decided to do is I just opened my phone, and looked out, just look out at the search in the internet, just how to tie, you see. So I looked around, I found this image. There are how many ways? 5 ways tie your tie. I'm like, which one? So I tried from the top of the list. And then good thing is the third one was actually working. Third one. And I tied my tie well, and it took me like whole 30 minutes actually. So I did the wedding okay. And the photo from the wedding looked like this. I don't know if you can see my face from there, but I'm like still nervous about the wedding because I had a hard time with tying the tie. But somehow you can still see that I look way younger than the groom himself. Yeah, I can't help that, because I'm gonna look young forever. So, but this is one thing I kind of learned. You see, the thing is, I don't want to do the wedding that way. If you ask me, Pastor Sonny, I have a wedding to do, and I'm gonna leave this wedding all the way 100% up to you. You can do whatever you want to do with this wedding as you marry us, officiate the wedding. Then I wouldn't wear a suit. I wouldn't wear a tie. I'm gonna wear my shorts, T-shirt. It says and the T-shirt says, "Are you sure about this?" And something like that. That would make the wedding way more fun, wouldn't it? And then I'll go instead of doing the wedding vow, I'll probably do that more like hip hop style. You see, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you take this person as your wife for entire life? Are you sure? Are you sure? This is my style. You see? If the couple asks me to do wedding whatever way I want, and in the end, I'll probably prepare some fireworks, and then again, even at the end point, are you sure? But the thing is, I don't do that. Why? Because deep inside of my heart, I know if I do this, the couple will never see me again. But if you think about it, on the one hand, I know what I want. And I do want, these things I want to happen, right? And that's how we define good life. As much as all the things you want, they gotta happen. If then it's good life. That's our definition of good life, right? But on the other hand, we all know deep inside of our heart, if all those things in our heart really happen that we want, then your life and my life will be really ruined. Not just that, if we can go further, even we can make some sacrifice. We can drop some of our wishes, some of our wills down so that we can see greater good to happen. We all know that. If you look at Jesus' prayer, it is a very well-known prayer. He's saying, first of all, he told his disciples, stay out there, stay away, okay? Obviously, again, that's the part I wanted to preach on. And then Jesus prayed. What kind of prayer? He says, take this cup away from me. What is this cup? It's not this cup we have here. It's cross, sacrifice, right? That amazing grace. Apparently, Jesus didn't want to do that, right? That's what he's praying for. Father, take this cup away from me. We all can pray like this. We can say anything in our prayer. Seriously. Yeah, even Jesus refused the cross. I mean, there's one thing we can learn from that. We can say any kind of prayer. Well, we can say, I don't like that person. God, take him away. We can pray that. Go ahead. But don't pray that including me in there, okay? You can pray oh, please, God, give me more money. You can pray that too. Some people go oh, I don't know if I can pray that. It's so so material, That's okay. You can pray that. You can include that in your prayer. You can say any kind. You can even complain to God. Because if you look at actually book of Psalm, it's full of complaint. God, I don't get this. Why are you doing this to me? You can say that in your prayer. That's good prayer. But you got to go a little further. Don't stop there. You go further. Jesus goes further too. He says, take this cup away from me. But he doesn't stop there. He goes, what? But not my will be done, but your will. Your will. Father, your will be done. Good life shouldn't be measured by how much the wishes of yours or things you want, your will be done in your life. It should be actually defined totally different way. Last summer, I said this 4 times, many times already in this series. Last summer, that just passed by, my family and I went to U.S. to visit my parents. They are in Washington State, okay, near Seattle. And during our stay there, we were thinking about going to a national park called Mountain Rainier. Let me ask you a question. How many of you heard of Mountain Rainier? Oh, quite a lot. That's great. How many of you actually been there? Oh, few of you. That's good. How many of you went all the way up to the top and got lost? Never came back? Okay, good. Anyway, my parents live near the Mountain Rainier National Park. It's around 2-hour driving, okay? Anyway, so I was thinking about actually going up because I wanted to take my kids and see the park because I went there 1,000 times already because I'm from that area. But just because I wanted my kids to see the park, I was thinking about planning to go up, taking my kids, my wife. And my dad actually said, hey, if that's your plan, because after he heard my plan, you got to take me there. I'm going to drive you there. So I go no, Dad, you don't have to do that. Because my dad goes up there very many times. Like every time he gets a guest from Korea, anywhere, he takes them to Mountain Rainier. You went there many times, 1,000 times already. You don't have to go there. I can drive there. Then he just kept insisting, oh, no, I'm going to drive. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Fine. I mean, if you really want to go, that desperately, then you can go. You can drive. You can be in the driver's seat. I thought, in the beginning, because he never actually told me the reason. I thought in the beginning he didn't want to, he didn't want to let me use his car, drive his car. I'm like, oh, I'm 25 now, Dad. You don't have to do this. I'm old enough. But he goes oh, I'm going to drive. I'm like, fine. And then we all went to Mountain Rainier. And there is a national park like gate, right? And what you do is, for you to go through the gate, you got to pay the fee, admission fee, okay? It's like $25 or something. $25, it was like nothing to me, since I'm super rich. Anyway, so we went there. My dad was driving seat, but somehow, as we getting nearer to the gate, my dad's face was like getting more like prouder. I felt like there is something he wanted to show us. And then, soon enough, I saw what that was. At the gate, when the ranger person asking, hey, so $25, you gotta pay. And then my dad goes like, with a big smile on his face, took out his wallet and took out the free pass. Mountain Rainier free pass. And showed the guy with a big smile on his face with a 100% pride. And like, he didn't really say this out loud, but I couldn't hear him in my heart. Did you see this, son? I'm letting you pass this gate free. Because since he passed the age of like being like senior state resident, once you get old enough, then you can get through the gate not without paying the fee. And my dad was so proud of it. He so wanted to show that to me. So he didn't mind driving the car all the way 2 hours and just make that moment work. He was like bragging about it, like on the way there, on the way back, like, son, did you see that? Did you see that? It was all about like free pass. But if you think about it, it's not really about the free pass. It's not really free. You know why? Because let's imagine this. I had this information about the free pass, and I asked my dad, Dad, just give me the pass so that I can, pass the gate free. And I got the pass from my dad. The thing is, I can't get through the gate. You know why? Because once I get there, I take out the free pass. There's a photo of my dad. What the rangers do is they see the photo on the ID and see my face. Obviously, to many Western people, Asians look all same. Somehow, it's totally possible that they can differentiate, my dad's face on the ID and my face in reality. I can do some, wrinkles on my face too. But what they do is, listen, it's not free pass. They do match. They make sure that photo on the ID matches the actual face. Then you can go through, right? Christian faith is not about getting free pass, getting all the things you want actually becoming reality. It won't happen. It doesn't matter how much faith you have. Christian faith is about matching. See His will and your will, and make sure they match. That's why every day you get up, you pray, God, not by my will, but by your will. You want to make sure your life be matched by His will. Then we can say it's a good life, at least from our perspective, Christian perspective. But it's not always joyful. It can be very painful, right? Not long ago, actually 4 years ago, I got a gift from somebody I know, and it was an amazing gift actually. I was very impressed, and I was very, I'm almost like surprised and shocked. It was a kind of big gift in the wrap. I mean, I usually love gifts, so if you are thinking about giving me gifts, you can do that. I mean, maybe you were thinking about maybe Pastor Sonny doesn't like my gift. It's okay. If that's a big gift, that's good. If it's an envelope, that's good too. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, it was like big, super big. So when I actually got it, I was like surprised. Oh, what is it? What is it? I'm excited, And then I unwrapped the wrapper, and then I took out the gift. It was my portrait. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, I mean, it's a little scary too. Actually, Like, think about it. Like, I unwrapped the wrapper and I found this. There was another me looking at me. It's me. And I'm me too. Me looking at me. I was very like shocked and surprised and impressed. And like I said, oh, thank you for the gift. It's amazing, you know. But the thing is, I don't know if you ever got a portrait as a gift. I mean, the moment you actually got it, I mean, it's exciting. But the thing is, after that, it's kind of a little awkward for you to find a place to put this. Because I was actually thinking about hanging it on the wall at my house. So I did that. And at the end of the day, my wife came to me. She said, honey, I love you, but can you take that drawing away from my house? I'm like, why? It's a great drawing. Why don't you like it? And she said something very interesting. She said, honey, while you're gone, I still felt like you're watching me. I was cleaning and looked around, you're still watching me. I was like doing dishes, I looked around, you're still watching me. Especially with a scary look. I'm like, okay, fine. I thought about like, maybe sending this to my father's house, since the series title is Father's. My father loves me. And I showed my father via, Skype. Oh, and kind of like, and kind of like, I was proud of my this portrait too. So I was showing my dad, my portrait. You want this? And then he was like, oh, no, son. I like you, but I don't like you staring at me all the time with a scary smile. So I couldn't do that either. So it actually happened to be in my office at church. But that was kind of awkward too, because like I put this on the right side of my desk. I was working hard, and I felt very awkward, kind of scared, and look at the side. Oh my! Like I'm watching myself, kind of working, like it was awkward. Anyway, but still, I really enjoyed the drawing, so I put it in my office, and where everybody can actually look at it, like this. That was great drawing. And not long after that, I got another gift from somebody else. It's called I don't know if the English term is the same as the Korean term. It's called the diffuser. And it's like a little perfume kind of thing that makes your room smell better, okay? I don't know why that person gave me the thing after visiting my office, spending 2 hours, having very uncomfortable face, and I got this gift from that person. Maybe he was trying to tell me something, which I didn't get. Anyway, it's a great thing. The thing is, this is very fancy too. It's in the bottle. It's in the bottle. It was in the box, not anymore. What you do is, it smells really good too. Take out the cap, and then you put the sticks actually in here. And what it does, this liquid thing flows through the stick, and it actually gets in the air. So the more sticks you put in, the room smells better. Anyway, so it's very nice. It smells very nice too. And I actually put this in my office too. But since that happened, every time a person comes in my office, they go like, very scared, like they go, I was like, why? They were like, you gotta do something about your office, your room. I'm like, what is wrong? The thing is, I put this thing in front of my portrait. It actually looked like this. I mean, some of you may not get this, but if you actually go to Korean funerals, this is what funeral places look like. There's a photo of the deceased person, and in front of that photo, there's always this, incense, whatever thing in front of it, and people go in front of that thing and then pray. Make sure the person rests in peace. That's why every time I have somebody show up in my room, they go, I didn't really get it when I actually did the first time. But the thing is, I kind of figured this. Christian life is all about you die every day. Christian life is all about you die every day. It's not about like you achieve more. It's not about like you get your wills, your wishes to be done. Every day, every morning you get up, you say the same prayer. God, not my will, but your will. Which means, help me to die today too. And I want you to live in my life. So literally, every day is our funeral. And you say the same thing. Hey, God, I want to die, but I want you to be alive in my life. Not by my will, but your will. Actually, when I got these two gifts, there was a time I had a very, very low, it was my low time, low season. Like I heard, you know me, I'm being very casual. I don't wear my real pastor robe, you know. I don't go like pastor's holy voice, hallelujah, everybody, you know. I try to make you laugh. And I just try to be myself before, even while I preach or do this thing. But that time, I had some people who were not really happy with me. Some people said like, Sonny, you're just a big joke. You're not even a pastor. I heard some people saying like, stop being funny. I even heard at that time, that season, I heard some people even said like, you're a big disgrace to Korean churches. I mean, usually I'm very positive and filled with the Holy Spirit 100%. But that season was hard for me. I just wanted to be myself, and I thought that was the highest priority for any Christian, even including pastor. But some people didn't really get it, especially Korean cultural context. You know, some people, this is like full joke. It was a hard time for me, and I got those two gifts. And that portrait came with a small note. It actually said like this. Dear Pastor Sonny, thank you for your holy sense of humor. It's always a great joy for my family to listen to your sermons. Your casual way of approaching biblical messages has amused me. Please, this is the part that really encouraged me to deep inside of my heart. Please continue to be yourself, a unique pastor. And she drew this for me. I thought God was speaking to my heart. Let me ask you a question. When do you experience God's grace most in your life? When you're like up and high season, harvesting season, everything goes the way that you want? Probably. But the truth is, in the low time of your life, season, like it's like a famine to you. All those things in your mind don't happen. Those wishes you have do not really happen necessarily. But even during that time when you find God's will be done in your life, amazingly enough, that's the part of your life, that's the places, times when you experience God's grace most. So pray and reach out to God, your Father. Father, not by my will, but your will. And die every day and let him live in you. Let's pray.